Good morning, Charles Van Morgan Live. It is the Charles Van Morgan Show. We got a good show for you today. We're going to talk about social movement tactics. So come on in, come on in. So I love this flag. Charles Van in the morning in a suit and tie this morning on our way to the courthouse downtown. Hopefully we'll make it that far. So Charles Van Morgan Show, thank you all for joining. Come on in, come on in. So this morning, we're going to talk about social movements. We're going to talk about social movement tactics. And I'm going to explain to you why I'm in a suit and tie. You know, it was about 22 years ago in March that the United States of America invaded Iraq. Operation Freedom. So this today is Operation Enduring Freedom, and it's not fought with bullets. It's fought on the ground with persuasion tactics in the court of public opinion, and not with bullets, but it's still a fight. I call it Operation Enduring Freedom. So stand by for the show, Operation Enduring Freedom. And that's why I'm in a suit and tie. I'm in my battle uniform for public persuasion, what I've been trained. Now, they won't let me argue in their rogue courtrooms. They won't let me in their courtrooms, so we'll argue out here on the street. We'll fight out here on the street with persuasion, with a social movement, because we've tried institutional channels and they don't work for us. So if you're here and institutional channels haven't worked for you, or we will explain to you how they're not going to work for you if the situation ever arises. Our courts are against you and they're working well on their side. And I'm going to try to convince you, if you're not convinced today, that that is the case and that you need to help this movement called V.O.T.E, Voters of Truth Enraged, because we need to vote for people that tell the truth. The people in our offices, in our courtrooms, are dirty scumbag liars. They're thugs. Now, the Tennessee court system, people in judicial offices don't want me saying that about them. They want to cover up their public corruption. They won't let me go in a courtroom, so we'll do it out here on the road. Hello. Yeah, great old man. So I'm a young man. So we got a lot of people in here already. Thank y'all so very much. So today is a continuation of Operation Enduring Freedom, similar to the invasion of Iraq to topple Saddam Hussein in 2003. We are going to topple it was in, I believe in 93, not 2003. We are going to try to topple the Tennessee government, but not with guns and bullets, with the art of persuasion. So join us today as we argue our case out on the street for a more just, fair society for all of us, not a society that just works for the rich and powerful. So, my name's Charles Van Morgan. I have a Doctor of Jurisprudence, passed the Tennessee bar exam twice, tried to go through their system. They're not going to let me in their system because they say that I'm dishonest, when the people that adjudicated that I'm dishonest were committing a felony of dishonesty at the time. They adjudicated I'm not honest. I reapplied and they still won't allow me to have a law license to practice law in a courtroom to represent you and all Tennesseans against the government. And the people in government power are the ones that get to decide who represents you. So they decide that people that represent you are people that they pick, so they really don't represent you. They are double agents that are on the side of people in government power. So they won't let me represent Tennesseans because I would be on the side of you and your constitutional rights. But they don't want people on the side of you and your constitutional rights. And I'm going to argue that today and spell the case out for you today of why you should join V.O.T.E and why you should support the movement of V.O.T E, power to you the people, the V.O.T E movement, voters of truth and rage. We need to vote for people that tell the truth. And that's what the mission is today. We're going to talk about tactics of V.O.T E. One of the tactics of V.O.T E is I'm going to present my case. I'm going to spell it out with pictures and evidence to indict, to argue, to indict, to prosecute people in state power and state government. Now, I've been trained to do that in their schools. I've got their weapons of mass destruction, not bullets, words. But my words carry weight because the truth has weight and value. They carry lies. And we're going to present that case for you today. So hang on. We're going to present a case for the public, the whole world, of why you should indict people in the Tennessee government, people in power, and including the judiciary in Tennessee. They're crooked as hell. They lie and do things to benefit themselves against you. You won't get a fair hearing in a Tennessee courtroom. You'll get a biased hearing that's full of lies, and you'll get mistreated in their courtrooms. And under the First Amendment, I'm out here on a public sidewalk. Under the First Amendment, presenting my case as is allowed in the United States Constitution of why you should not trust the Tennessee government and why you should vote these people out of office. Now, I'm not violent or dangerous, but they are very violent, very dangerous. So I'm very on guard for my safety. I'm not paranoid, but I'm not stupid, because when you stand up against people in government power, they will try to, some of them will try to kill you. Some of them will try to harass, intimidate you. And people say that I am absurd for saying that. Well, they have already put me in the hospital, beat me up and put me in the hospital for running for public office. Now, they lied about it. They said I did a lot of things that I never did. They don't have any proof of it. I mean, if they'd had any proof of it, don't you think they'd be putting it out? Yeah, they would, but I didn't do any of what they accused me of doing. In fact, they did what they accused me of doing. Gaslighting at the utmost degree. And I'll present my case today to indict people in Tennessee government. And by indicting, the penalty is to vote. That's my penalty, a peaceful measure, vote. Vote them out of office. And we got a few sociological studies about social movements that I'll run past you. Some astonishing results about being unruly, about about not going along with the program, and how that works better than being compliant in getting cooperation from those in power. So we're not going to cooperate with these people. We're not going to cooperate with them. We're not going to break any laws, but we're not going to allow them to break laws. Now, they gaslight the hell out of you, act like you're doing something wrong if you exercise constitutional rights, when they're the ones breaking the law for penalizing people for violating the constitutional rights. So we're gonna discuss that today. We got pictures and evidence on our way downtown to argue the case against the government, against people in government power. Government is good. I am not anti-government. Never have been, never will be. We have to have a government that punishes people that are dangerous and provides for the welfare of the public. Right now, we have people in power in our government that have deceitfully got into office using dirty, rotten, crooked lawyers. A lot of people in public power are lawyers, using the dirty, rotten, crooked Tennessee court system to deceive Tennesseans and to deceive Americans, and to fool you into voting for these crooks, these people that are dirty as hell. And I'm here today to argue my case, to present to you that we need to vote these people out of office and convict them. And the conviction is to join vote, join power to you, the people, and kick them out of office, kick them out the door. So, as you see on the screenshot, it was in 2011 that I was in a pursuit of a highly intoxicated, dangerous to himself than others, drunk driver. And I had just gotten done working a wreck. And I was on my way to the hospital to get the blood evidence. I had requested assistance for somebody to go to the hospital and get blood evidence because I didn't know if the person would live or die. They slammed head on into a tree at the other wreck that I was nowhere around. There's somebody that was drunk and got called to that wreck, and I was working that wreck. So since it involved possibly a death, I didn't know if the person would survive. They said he was unconscious when he left the scene. I did measurements because on a fatality, you can work a fatality by yourself, but you have to do measurements. So I took the measurements, got my measuring tape out, and marked off the scene, trained to do that. And it takes a little while to do that. So I knew it'd be a while before I got to the hospital. So I requested assistance from the dispatcher to send somebody to the hospital to take blood off the subject in case he died, or in case to charge him with drunk driving if he were intoxicated. And I think there was a apparent suicide attempt because witnesses said at the scene that the gentleman just drove straight into a tree for no reason. Stopped at a stop sign, then floored it and ran into a tree. So somebody told me, for information I got, that he was in an argument with his girlfriend or something like that. So I think it was probably a suicide attempt. And I didn't know if he got it done or not, so I was taking measurements at the scene. So it took me a while, and after I got done taking the measurements, you take the measurements so that you can put the car back in the same place. So if they need to reconstruct the accident, then you take pictures and you get a reference point, and you go off that reference point and make several measurements where you can put the tires back where the vehicle is, and you can do that by yourself on a single car drunk driving accident. You don't have to call out CERT or a special investigation team. A trooper can do it by themselves. It just takes a little bit of time. And so I did that, and I was on my way to the hospital, and I had gotten orders from Sergeant McDonald with THP, a very good man for the most part, of course under crooked people, so he had to go along and get along, and to enforce traffic laws on Emory Road.
You okay?
I'm just fine, thank you.
Okay. I was wondering, I want to make sure you were okay.
Yeah, I'm just filming something. Thank you, I appreciate it. So as a concerned citizen about me. So I was taking measurements. of the scene on my way back to the hospital, and going down Emory Road to go back to the hospital to collect evidence from Mike Turley. Now, Mike Turley, he's a sergeant. Now, he's lazy. I collected evidence, even one after I was subpoenaed to court after they said I couldn't testify, and they gave me a subpoena to testify in court from a trooper in another county. And you don't have to wait for the trooper to come and pick it up. You can go turn it into the evidence box yourself. That way the chain of custody's not broken. You actually saw it, but Trooper Turley wouldn't do that. He collected the blood evidence and he hands it off to you because he's so lazy. And that really even breaks the chain of evidence, because you can't testify that you've seen him draw it. So they don't even handle things appropriately. They violate the chain of command, because he drew the evidence, and he waits for you to come down there and get it. And technically, legally, if you watch them draw the blood evidence, you're supposed to take it yourself to the drop box and sign off that you see him drew it, and the evidence went to the drop box. But he's too lazy to drive to the post to do that. He wants to hold it there for you so you can come down and get it. But that breaks the chain of evidence. But you know, when you have supervisors that back up certain officers that don't do anything, then you have to do what you have to do. And I would have just had to testify in court that I took the blood away out of the hands of Trooper Mike Turley, and then he would have had to been subpoenaed to go to court to say that he drew it and handed it right to me. But that just puts another step in the chain of evidence that could be broken. So I mean, it's really his job. It is his job to when a trooper has to measure the scene, to take the blood immediately to the blood evidence, to the locker, that he's followed the whole chain instead of adding another link into it. That could be combated by an attorney and breaking the chain. And if somebody was involved in a fatal wreck, then you have some serious problems. Like the attorney's going to ask, well, why didn't you turn it into isn't that normal procedure that you do that? And in the general orders. And so it just causes a big mess. But that's the kind of situation you have with the Highway Patrol. And now he's a sergeant, so I mean that's what these people are over. So I call him Mike Turdley. He brags about hitting people over the head with his flashlight, and people don't think that. And I'm not afraid to face the little man. He smokes cigarettes, and he's a little puny fella, you know. But they're cheap shot artists. You know, they'll get you from behind where you're not looking, which they won't. You know. So. But people say I shouldn't be concerned about people that in uniform that run around bragging about hitting people in the head and from behind, and you know. So yeah, I'm concerned about my safety, and you know. But anyway, so I was going to the hospital to pick up the blood evidence kit from him when I was on Emory Road. And I seen a car going at a high rate of speed. It was even speeding for the interstate, doing 79 in a 40. And that's speeding on the interstate. And Emory Road is not a divided highway, so it's real dangerous to be going. It's dangerous to be going that fast sometimes on the interstate and 55 in the inner city during heavy traffic, but it's probably not dangerous going that fast on the interstate. Where it's 70 way out in rural areas, but on a highway where it's not divided in a 40 in a residential area, that's highly dangerous. And I had gotten orders from Sergeant McDonald that he got complaints to enforce the speed limit law on Emory Road. So I was completely following orders when I spotted that car coming over the crest of a hill in the darkness, speeding at a high rate of speed. My radar unit has audio and a visual, and I could see it speeding. And the radar unit let up, you know, it makes a real high-pitched sound when a car is going really fast. And I estimated approximately 79, because you get good at judging speed. You practice that all day, every day. Not all day, but you practice that every day. You estimate the speed and confirm it with the radar, and the radar confirms 79. So I immediately turned on all my emergency equipment, blue light siren, as required by state law, in order to warn the public that I was going to go after a speeder. Now, normally you get behind them and they pull right over, 99% of the time. Now, there's that 1% that refuses to stop, and what happens is there's a general order about if it's General Order 411 about pursuits, a pursuit policy, all the things that you have to comply with the rules in order for a legal, legitimate pursuit. So, and I've sworn in court, held my hand up. My right hand up, said, I swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help me God. And they've accused me of lying. And they've lied. Well, they're accusing me of lying. And the judge has lied. And the judge has allowed them to commit perjury. Now, those are facts. That's your Tennessee court system. I present my case. I'm telling you what happened. And you've seen my picture where they put me out on the front page of the newspaper for several days. You look at the wreck in Maryville, where a trooper was involved hitting a motor officer. We still don't know his name, and I don't think they ought to put out his name. They put out my name the next day that I was involved in a deadly pursuit, Stacey Heatherly, trying to put a hit out on me, trying to endanger my life, trying to get me killed. That I was involved in a deadly pursuit, even putting the video out to think that people would believe that I did something wrong when there was no public outcry about it, because people understood, hey, why does a trooper pass a wreck? Probably, obviously, it's not hard to understand because he didn't see it. That's easy to figure. That's not a complicated step. And then they added a false narrative to it. No, you don't understand. That was inflammatory, intended to get me hurt and killed, and it did cause me to get violence against me several times. And my son, who was younger than the man that died, was harassed at his school and also harassed at the news media. And I had done nothing wrong. I was following orders. I was doing what I was supposed to do. But the government flipped that. The people in government power flipped that. Specifically, Major Stacey Heatherly now. She got promoted for lying. And legislator Lowell Russell. He got elected to the House of Representatives using your tax money, hailing him as a hero. Now, this is my case against the government. I'm just telling you the truth, the facts. This is how dirty these people are. You think Jeffrey Epstein's dirty? Jeffrey Epstein didn't try to get people killed, I don't think. Now, that's pretty sick. He raped and molested little children. But these are people that release people from criminal charges that hurt little children, and I'm not, they're pretty disgusting people, and I'm not going to pull punches. They are very disgusting, because what I was doing is life-saving, and because of their actions, they've gotten power in the government. A lot of people have lost their lives. The fatality rate is up 35% in the state of Tennessee because of the policies of people that are in office that lie to you, that put out false propaganda. So I turn on all my emergency equipment and turn around on the car to attempt to apprehend him. And what happens is, okay, the car, the best of my recollection, the car, I turn on all the equipment, made a turn to go after him, to warn the public, hey, and a lawful order for them to stop. They're a danger to themselves and other people. So 99% of people stop, and you write them a ticket, or if they're drunk or under the influence of drugs. And it was 3:30 in the morning on Thanksgiving morning, so the likelihood of somebody being intoxicated was extremely high. So that's how I did a lot of drunk driving enforcement. Is I always stayed open to the possibility of getting somebody dangerous off the road. There was nothing more important to me than getting a drunk driver off the road. And so even if I was tied up doing something else, working a wreck, I had all the stuff. I could do that later. I still seen somebody speeding at 3:30 in the morning, high rate of speed. And in order to protect the public, then I still knew that added more stuff for me to do. But there's a reason that I led the state in public safety, because I took care. I could have said, no, let's just ignore that. He may crash into somebody. Somebody might be taking their child to the hospital and the speeder slam into them. But just ignore it, go to the hospital and do your shift. You worked direct today, that's enough. But I was concerned, like a lot of troopers aren't, about protecting the public. So it wouldn't hurt me to pull him over if he pulled over, do a sobriety test, charge him with drunk driving and take him to jail, protect him and the public, and still went and worked the wreck. I would have still went and picked up the blood kit from Mr. Turley and then swore out a warrant. I stayed busy like that all the time. The average trooper makes 2 drunk driving arrests a year. I made about 150. There's a reason why, because I worked hard and it lowered the fatality rate. The fatality rate was down under 1,000 people a year when I was on the road, on a downward trend because of my actions. Even the Highway Patrol admits that. So I turned on all my emergency equipment. They even got awards for my actions. They gave the district the District of the Year award for drunk driving enforcement. I led the whole district in drunk driving enforcement, but they fired me. So, you know, that's sick how they do. And so I turned around in the car with all my emergency equipment on. It came on before I turned around, and that's significant. That's significant because I was following state law, the V.O.T.E Act, where a Chattanooga police officer ran through a red light in pursuit of a violator and hit a car, and it killed the other person. So the state mandates, because of V.O.T.E, a child that was killed by a police officer, breaking the speed limit laws, running the red light without using emergency equipment, warning other people, the state mandated appropriately that all officers go through several hours every single year of emergency vehicle training to follow the laws in emergency vehicles. So I went through that training every year. And the training is, you know, when you're in pursuit of a violator, actual suspected, state law, and you get trained this every year, is you turn on all your emergency equipment. You turn on your blue lights, you turn on your siren, you got to have audio and visual warning, and your headlights have to be on. Now, they come on automatically when you, and they flash when you, in the daytime, and they stay on at night, obviously, when you hit the button to turn on all the, it's a switch when you hit the button to turn on all the equipment. So that's significant because another trooper on 411 turned around in a pursuit of a violator on 411 highway and did not turn on his emergency equipment when he turned around after him. And there is no video of that, wasn't put out in the news, and the person he was pursuing took off from him, because I'm sure he's seen him. He was going the opposite direction, similar to what I was doing. The difference was he didn't turn on his emergency equipment when he turned around in pursuit of the car like I did, John Pettigo, and he didn't warn the public that there was a dangerous incident, and he didn't turn on his emergency equipment. And if you look in the newspaper, there's even a dispute about that. The major says she didn't know whether, the line major, Satterfatter, says she didn't know whether he turned on his emergency equipment or not. Well, if he did turn on his emergency equipment, then there's a camera on the front of the car, and they never showed the video. They never released the video to that. That's cover up. My pursuit was done by the book. Nothing I did wrong. Nothing, absolutely nothing I did wrong. They lie about me, say that I did, but it's a lie. It's a lie. And they even add evidence. They even light up the scene that wasn't seeable to another eyewitness on the scene. They lie. They change police reports. This is the state government presenting my case. They change police reports. They lie about stuff. And you're talking about the leading trooper in the state that is lowering the fatality rate, that's carrying the load. Other troopers aren't doing it. They don't have to do it. Why don't they have to do it? Because their daddy works for the Highway Patrol, and they won't get fired if they shoot and kill somebody, which is what some of them have actually done. It gets covered up, swept under the road. But you're talking about somebody that provides public safety for you. And I'm out here now, similarly, providing public safety for you. I'm telling you what happened in a fatal wreck where somebody killed themselves, and they tried to infuriate the public with false propaganda, with lies, using the court system. Now, that's what's very alarming. Using our Tennessee court system. Now, I didn't realize. I had a suspicion of how crooked the Tennessee court system was. But I didn't realize until I went through what I went through in this crooked court. Now, Trooper Pettigo turned around in the car, did not have his emergency equipment on. If he did, then where's the video showing it? In pursuit of a car, because he made a maneuver to pursue the car. The car took off faster, went over the double yellow lines, and hit a 16-year-old because she wasn't warned. Had he had on his blue lights and siren like the law commands, it's not a choice. And I worked with him. I know how he did. He got in pursuit of people all the time, alleged on the radio, I'm trying to catch up to a car. No, you're not trying to catch up to a car. Supervisors even told him, you know, you have to do a pursuit report. You're in pursuit when you are trying to apprehend a violator, suspected violator of the law. When you make a maneuver to go after them, you're in pursuit. You're supposed to have on your emergency equipment. It warns the public that, hey, there's a problem. The car that you're trying to pursue obviously is probably trying to break some law, or you wouldn't be making a maneuver in the middle of the road to go after them. So they're dangerous. You need to warn the public about them to wake up and pay attention. And you need to warn the public that you're going to violate the speed limit law and that you're going after that person to wake up. And he didn't use any emergency equipment. And the man he was trying to apprehend went over the double yellow lines and slammed into a 16-year-old. Had John Pettigo had his emergency equipment on, the young lady might have heard a siren and paid attention to what was going on, but she had no warning from the trooper. Trained law enforcement officer killed a 16-year-old, and they cover that up. Where's the video of that? They have to have a video, at least of the wreck scene. Why didn't the news request that? Because the news media protects the state and protects the courts. So I turned around with all emergency equipment on and followed the law, and nobody else got hurt. I was warning people, hey, it's a dangerous situation. Somebody speeding at a high rate of speed. And I turned around on him, tried to get behind him. He turned on his left turn signal, and I thought he was going to pull over. And then he made his fatal mistake. He made a decision. I didn't make that decision. Now his dad says that I made a bad decision. I didn't make any bad decisions. I didn't make any bad decisions at all. My decision was to protect the public. I stand by my decision. It was a good decision. And I'm not responsible for his son's bad decision. Don't drag me in his drunken party. I wasn't a part of it. I was part of protecting the public, just like I am now, telling you the truth about this stuff. Telling you what the state will do. They don't care if you get killed in their forest of a Tennessee Department of Safety. It's Tennessee Department of Public Danger. And his rhetoric at public schools, they let him speak at public schools, endangered me and my family and my children while I was out doing right. Now his son is the only one that night that did something wrong. Fortunately, he didn't kill somebody else. But his son's not a hero. His son's not George Floyd. His son's not a hero. It's sad what happened to his son, but that's not my fault. I did the right thing, and I'm being punished by people like Lionel Russell and Major Stacy Heatherly for doing the right thing. They're cowards, not me. Not me at all. And further penalized, they won't even let me practice law in the courtrooms. They say I'm dishonest. I'm the most honest that you've seen in state government. And have backup credibility to show that. I passed the bar just like them. The difference is they're out to do me harm, and I'm out to have them voted out. So I turned around on the car, and he made his fatal mistake that he should have made. The first mistake he made was getting in the car drunk and drinking alcohol underage, getting excessively drunk and running from law enforcement. Had he stopped, I would have tested him. He was drunk. I would have figured that out and put him in jail. Like the 100 other people I put in jail, he'd have been safe. He'd have been safe. And the thinking that I shouldn't have pursued him is that's up to discretion. I was well within my legal rights to pursue him, and it is not right to only write people a ticket and only arrest people that cooperate. You arrest everybody that stops. Now there's a lot of times going back from 1993 where I was a police officer way before Lionel Russell and Major Stacy Heatherly ever decided to be in law enforcement. I'm a lot older than they are, a lot smarter, a lot more street smart, and I won't quit. So that's why they'll try to kill me. But I was in pursuit of a car in 1993 at U.T. Police that was in the Southern Avenue apartments. And about 2 or 3 in the morning, and we had a lot of cars broken into. So I got behind the car. I had no reason to stop him. It's private property, but that's not enough, because it could have been somebody that lived there, could have been a friend of somebody. So I followed behind them, and they were leaving the property. As soon as they seen me, they took off pretty quickly. So I knew something was up, so I got behind them. And I wasn't intending on stopping them, just watching what they were doing. And I suspected that they were there to break into cars at about 3 in the morning, so I got behind him. And when he pulled out of the parking lot, there's a stop sign, and he was such a hurry to elude me. I guess he thought I was going to pull him over, but I didn't believe that I had enough to stop him yet. But when he pulled out onto Southern Avenue, he ran the stop sign. So, because he ran a stop sign, I had reason to stop him. I still remember he was in a Datsun V.O.T.E. And I turned on my blue lights to pull him over for running the stop sign, and I was also going to investigate why he was on the apartment complex that we had cars broken into. And I suspect that's probably what he was doing. And I turned on the blue lights, and he wouldn't stop. He took off going down Southern Avenue, and I was in a Ford patrol car, and I went in pursuit of him, called it out on the radio, and went in pursuit of him. He went all the way down Southern Avenue, made a left turn onto Concord, and then he turned in behind the railroad tracks off of Concord and went straight ahead, and the road ends, and I was right behind him. He didn't go off the road or anything like that. He went straight ahead and slammed straight ahead into the bank there behind the railroad tracks on Concord. So this is when I was in my 20s in pursuit of somebody. I wasn't trying to avoid anybody or didn't see anybody or anything in the pursuit in 2011. That was the case. That's what they lied about that. They lied to you and caused a lot of people to get killed. They're lying to this day. They still show that video in their academy and lie about it. Did they tell you the full story about how I was in law enforcement long before they were? I rescued people from fires. They don't tell you all that. Well, I'm here to tell you, present my case about them. They found an emotional reason to get rid of me because I was arresting their friends, and that's what they did, and a lot of other reasons. And because I made legitimate complaints to their procedure about Lion Lowell Russell, who was so dangerous he got himself hurt. So in the pursuit in 1993, right off Concord, the pursuit started on Southern Avenue. He turned behind the railroad tracks beside him, slammed into a bank head on. So he didn't go off the road, he just slammed it head on. I had a complete sight of him. And slammed into the bank, jumped out of the car, and ran up a little hill and climbed over a fence. So I'm right behind him. I stopped. I was in my 20s then. And get out of my car, climb over the fence, chase him. And he went around the house, and I lost sight of him. He went around the corner of a house, and I lost sight of him. Now, he's a burglar. We did find burglary tools in his cars, and he was out there trying to break into cars when we get past the road here. So yeah, thank you all for joining me. So I seen the car wreck, went right after him. It wasn't climbed over a fence. I mean, there's people who can verify that. Climbed over a fence, went after him. Now they're trying to say I seen a wreck and kept going. Well, in '93, I seen a wreck and I didn't see that wreck. It was a totally different situation. If I'd have seen it, I would have stopped. Wouldn't have made any difference anyway. They're lying on me. People in state government power, judges lie, and they'll lie on you too. And I can't defend you in courts because of their dirty lies. And they don't want me exposing it. And I'm exposing. I'm not afraid of them. I wasn't afraid to get out of my car and take off and climb over a fence after somebody that left me in a pursuit trying to get away in a pursuit on Concord in 1993. It's a dirty lie. They're lying to you. They're cowards. That's the reason why they're lying. Cowards lie. So he went around the house and I lost sight of him. And so I start bluffing. I yelled out, and I wouldn't have because you couldn't. But I yelled out, if you don't stop, I'll shoot. Stop or I'm going to shoot. And I couldn't even see him, but I was bluffing him. You know, trying to get him to stop or let me know where he was at to scare him, but I wouldn't have shot him. But that was the bluff. Stop or I'll shoot. I'm going to shoot. You know, you better stop. So I came around the house and he's laying on the ground, got his hands up. Please don't shoot me. And I wouldn't have anyway. And I remember cuffing him and putting cuffs on him. And he was burglarizing cars out there. And he was like, after I got him cuffed, you wouldn't have shot me. Were you really going to shoot me? I'm like, no, I wasn't going to shoot you. You were getting away from me. I didn't know where you were at, you know. Of course I can't shoot you unless you try to hurt me or somebody else. I said that to get you to stop. It worked pretty good, didn't it? And so I took him to jail. We found burglary tools in his car, and I charged him with having burglary tools. And so I caught that speeder and that person that ran. But the point is this. The point is, if you just arrest people and stop people from speeding, everyone that stops, then you're just enforcing the law on people that made a mistake that are going to cooperate. You have to, and I had luck in the past, you have to at least try, make a good effort to apprehend people that don't stop. I mean, most people, 99% of people, you turn on blue lights behind them. When I was a police officer, and if a cop turns on blue lights behind me to this day, I'll pull over and stop where it's safe. Now, there are very few instances where I wouldn't. Like if it's an unmarked car, I don't know if somebody's running around the blue light, I might pull over in a well-populated area, or I might drive to the police department with emergency equipment on in the parking lot of the police department to make sure it's really an officer. So there are reasons not to run, but not to stop immediately. I'm just saying, you know, you don't know if it's a well-marked, a fully marked car, then there's really no excuse. No matter what, you got to stay alive. But I guarantee you the police officers are trained to. So if you just try to stop and don't pursue people and make a good effort, all you're doing is enforcing the law on people that made a mistake. The ones that really need to be lawed are the ones that are lawless that won't stop. So everybody, welcome, come on in. Thank y'all for joining me. So like, share, comment. So we got some foreign language comments. So we'll continue with this dialogue. My suit and tie, representing, arguing for the public, representing you. So you have to, in my mind, and I was following the law legally, there's criteria for pursuing people because they held that against me. They like, well, you were just in a high-speed pursuit of a speeder. But no, when a person avoids law enforcement in order to stop with blue lights and siren in a motor vehicle, then they are in fact a felon at that point. And there's factors to weigh. Like, you wouldn't want to pursue somebody through a school zone, which troopers have, but in the middle of, 2:33 in the afternoon, and those factors are all in the pursuit policy, saying that, and don't pursue people, be careful about pursuing people, and reluctant to in construction zones where there's construction people out. And there's a lot of criteria about not pursuing, and you can pursue for speeding, make a good effort, and at that high rate of speed, that is reckless driving. You could construe that on a 4-lane highway going that fast, and so the decision to pursue is a logical decision that you have to try to make at least a good faith effort. If and that was held against me, that I even pursued him by a judge when I went to get my law license, saying that I was just in pursuit of a speeder. Well, that is irrelevant. It's irrelevant, and he's a sitting judge, Mr. Barker. He mentioned that. Well, you said he's a felon. I thought you said he was a speeder, but he's a felon when he decides to take a metal sled on 4 wheels and go at a higher rate of speed and endanger the public. That's a felony. And my decision, although he might not personally agree, he's never been a police officer, was well within the law. So he holds his personal views against me. Well, then he's a judge. Change the damn law. Don't go back retroactive and enforce your opinion on me. How dirty is that? A dirty Judge Barker's who that is. And he made decisions against the public all the time. He was a former Supreme Court Chief Justice. And I'm just telling you what he did. A dirty judge, dirty thug judge, out and risked my life. And he says, well, in his opinion, I shouldn't have even been pursuing him. So let every speeder go? Wow. Well, then you need to change the law and make it that way. Instead of saying, well, he was just a speeder, you should have let him go. Because now I know the outcome. And the outcome was no innocent person was hurt, not like in the John Pettigo case. So they flip-flop all over the place. The law doesn't matter to them. You can take the Tennessee Supreme Court law doesn't matter to them. You take all the law you memorized in law school and throw it in the river. Doesn't make a damn. They make up new stuff. They're the supreme arbitrator. They arbitrate their own will, whatever they think in their head and their little pea brains at the time. That's how sick and dirty our Tennessee Supreme Court is. I told you I'm presenting you the case against the Tennessee Supreme Court, against the judiciary in the state of Tennessee. Vote them out. And I'm not pulling punches. This is a free sidewalk. First Amendment still applies, I hope. That's why I have to watch out for my safety, health, protection, and well-being. They'll try to kill me. So you can't just let every speeder go. Then, and they train you this in law enforcement. If everybody knows, and a lot of departments have a no pursuit policy, and people know you have a plate on that don't represent your car, and when a cop gets behind you in that city or town, floor it, and they won't come after you. So they run every time, and the only people that get a ticket are people that are law-abiding citizens. And that's what law enforcement's for, to get law-abiding citizens. How about law enforcement? The real effort of law enforcement is to do your best to get rogue, violent, dangerous people that won't comply. Now, you can't kill yourself doing it or endanger other people unnecessarily doing it, but you have to give it a good effort. I mean, that's law enforcement. Excuse me, Mr. Barker, it ain't pretty. A lot of his rulings went against society. How would he like it if I picked somebody that he ruled against and got him and took their side and presented against him? He wouldn't like that too much because of his government service, and then use his rulings against people. Well, that's what they're trying to do to me. You see the flip-flop and the public corruption there? I made a lot of people mad in law enforcement. I made a lot of people mad that I saved their life. I made a lot of people that I arrested happy that thanked me later. But that is crooked for a Tennessee Supreme Court justice, former one, in the Board of Law Examiners, to insinuate that I should have let a speeder go because they ran. Wow. So that just incites people to run. Every time they punch it, don't even try to go after them. Everybody knows, hey, THP gets behind you, floor it, they'll leave you alone. That's not going to stop the problem of a lot of people getting killed on the roads. The people that pull over are dangerous, but the most dangerous people are the ones that won't stop. Those are the ones we need to get off the road. Those are the ones that kill themselves and other people. That's the most dangerous people. So you see the corruption in Judge Barker. Now, he's deceased now, and they honor him to high heaven. Well, maybe he's answering to God, because he certainly didn't treat me right. That's pretty disgusting, to use my efforts in law enforcement to protect the public and then flip that around on me like I did something wrong. No, he was doing something wrong, barring me from practicing law and being an honest attorney. That's who was doing something wrong, Judge Barker. And he's the only one can't sue me. You can't defame a deceased person. So, but I'll tell you the truth about other people. So I'll tell you the truth about other people that are alive and well, and it ain't defamation if it's true. And that's not defamation against Judge Barker. They have him as a hero, former Supreme Court Chief Justice, while he was getting money after he retired, getting my money, student loan money, from all over the country, and borrowing people from practicing law while he was a lawyer making money at the time. Now, I said that pretty fast. You understand what I'm saying? He was practicing law. He was getting paid tax money from all over the United States. His family's probably still got some of that tax money. The federal government, where's Doge at? They ought to get that money back from him. He didn't deserve that money. He used federal student loan tax money to benefit himself. What about that, Doge? They wouldn't do anything about that, right? See, Mr. Barker and all the members of the Board of Law Examiners are getting funded by tax money. And they're using the tax money to put in their pockets, and then they're practicing law, and then they're denying other people to be able to compete with them. They don't want other people to take their business away from them. If they gave me a law license, I could set up my office right next to theirs. So they won't let me do that. So they're keeping down competition, which is against federal law, but they got the federal judiciary system on the hook, I reckon. I'm just saying, what do you think? Because the federal court's supposed to be supreme. And we'll finish the story about the pursuit I was in. They lied about. They lied. Perjury, fraud, deception, propaganda, everything you could do, everything the government does dirty, and they'll do it to you. They do it every day in these courtrooms to citizens. And that's what we're fighting, not the government. We are the government. They're fighting us. It's people in government power that are fighting the real government, the people. And we need to wake up and join V.O.T.E and vote them out of office. So let's see how many people got in here. We'll finish the dialogue and explain to you how the Tennessee Board of Law Examiners is getting rich off Californians' money. So yeah, so we got quite a few in here. Thank you all so very much. Like, share, comment, and subscribe if you want to. We appreciate it. It'll help us get the message out. So that's part of the battle, part of the tactic of getting the message out. Because they got a lot of channels and a lot of money. They use your tax money to get out false propaganda and put the weight of law, the signature of truth on it, by having a dirty judge sign it. And because the dirty judge says it's true, people believe it when it's a dirty lie. And that's a major problem in Tennessee, dirty judicial lies. And Judge Barker was a liar. And so you can't let everybody go that runs. You can't risk other people's lives. And I never risk anybody's life. I went by the policy. They even admit I went by the policy. They can't deny that. It's on tape. They lie about stuff I said in the video. They literally, the stuff on the video, they say I lied about. I mean, they said I said that I didn't say, and you can hear exactly what I said. It's on video. But if you got a judge that's on your team, that's not unbiased, that's trying to figure out how he can rule in their favor, you're going to win every damn time. And let me tell you the significance of that. Those judges, and the significance of that all over the United States of America. You come through Tennessee, there's already several million people that have listened to a video of troopers and the news station saying that troopers will arrest sober people, and they do all the damn time because they don't know what they're doing. Okay, let's hope we don't get killed on the sidewalk. So they have troopers that arrest you, and you're sober. So if you come through Tennessee, get you some bond money. You say, well, I'm not breaking any law. Get you some bond money. You don't have to. And also, these forfeiture seizure hearings where they take your property, they pull you over and say that your car is being used for drug trafficking, and they seize your car, and maybe it's not, and you say it's not. You go before a judge, administrative law judge, the same judicial system, the administrative system that I went through to get my job back. Same dirty judges. If they want your car and you come through Tennessee, they'll take your car. If there's no evidence there to prove it, the judge will lie about the evidence and put it there. That's the truth. So this isn't a personal problem. If you don't pay attention, it could be your problem, or you just stay the hell out of Tennessee, because that's how dirty the court system here. They'll put you in jail for drunk driving when you ain't had a drop or no drugs. They'll seize your car when you're not using it for drug purposes, and they'll take your money. They'll steal your money and allege that it's drug money when it's not, and that has literally happened. The same lawyer that was prosecuting me, trying to take my job, that's working for the state, also stole somebody's money from them, stole their inheritance money from somebody out of Sevierville. That the officer that originally took it from him told him that he had made a mistake, and the attorney for the state still continued to try to take that person's money from him, even though he knew that it was inheritance and not drug money. So I'm telling you, come to Tennessee at your own risk. Now, I don't know if other states are like that, but I'm here to prosecute the state of Tennessee. You have to get your other attorney to prosecute other states, or if you want your help, I'll just tell you to join V.O.T.E. But I know the facts in Tennessee, and they're not pretty for the people in government power, and they don't look very well for you unless you vote. And the Tennessee Board of Law Examiners gets paid by students and tax money. Students get their money from student loans, from federal student loan. I had a federal student loan. The federal student loan money goes to these colleges. The federal student loan money goes to support students while they're going to law school. They pay into the Board of Law Examiners because they don't have a job yet in order to get their law license. So they're paying these people. So these people are getting student loan money. The student loan money that Lisa Perlin gets is federal student loan. So she's getting money from California. She's getting money from New York. She's getting money from South Carolina. She's getting money from Florida and Idaho and New Mexico and every state in between, Washington, north and north, south, east, and west. Federal tax money comes into the Tennessee Board of Law Examiners. And then they're using it fraudulently to deny competition against them. That's what they're doing, a buku amount of money. So if you want a reason to be mad at Tennessee, now Tennesseans have a cliche, don't bring your California to Tennessee. Californians under our government need to say, Tennessee judiciary, Tennesseans, quit letting your judiciary, your Board of Law Examiners, quit letting your Tennessee Supreme Court, your judiciary, your law schools steal from us. You're stealing from us. We have to pay into the student loan program that goes into fraudsters' pockets. Now, I said it and I mean it, and that's the damn truth. I'm out here on the sidewalk and I can't practice law, and they got federal student loan money. That's the truth. And I'm honest and they're not. They lied in their ruling to deny me my law license. That's the truth, and I can prove it. That's what I'm here in a suit and tie for, to prosecute them. They don't like that, do they? They like to stand in there in the courtroom and prosecute you and lie on you. Well, I'll stand out here as long as I still got my First Amendment rights until they try to hurt me, and I'll argue the truth against them. Are you listening? You won't hear this anywhere else. So there's their dirty, crooked courtroom right there where they violate people's rights. So like, share, comment. Beautiful view. So that's what they do. That's what they do to you. These are people in government power. And that's not the government. We're the government. And we don't need them to get by with that. We got a means to a verdict. It's called the veto vote. It's coming up in 2030. Every Supreme Court justice, most of them are, they're next on the line as far as getting voted out of office with a retention hearing. I'm advocating, vote them out. They're dirty as hell. They're wicked and corrupt. And people that are in office now are crooked as hell. So they denied me a license to practice law in their courtrooms. They denied me the right to persuade the public, which I've been trained to do. They denied me the right to persuade a jury in your favor. They denied me the right to speak for you in a courtroom. They only let lawyers that speak for them, that you think speak for you. And if you think I'm lying to you, making up conspiracy theories, it's a sociological principle. There's a sociological studies that verify, that back up with proof and numbers that lawyers are double agents. They're approved by the government and they work for the government. They don't work for you. They don't work for you. They work for the government. They can't lie for you, which they shouldn't have to lie for you, but they can lie for the government, and they damn sure do all the damn time. They had a prosecutor over here at this courthouse just a few days ago. It just happened to come out. They've probably been doing it for years. That was listening to attorneys and their clients from the jailhouse. He was monitoring their phone calls, invading their privacy, invading attorney-client privilege. And he hasn't lost his law license as far as I know. They never will. If they violate your rights, they don't lose their law license. If you complain about them violating your rights, you're likely to maybe lose your law license and be endangered by them. So they put out a hit on me because I turned around on a speeder because I had previously complained about a very dangerous supervisor from Internal Affairs in Nashville, Lionel Russell, who now they have lifted up like he's a hero and he's a state legislator. He's a legislator without a law degree. I've got a law degree and don't have a job. Passed the bar twice. Now, who does what to who? You can get where you want to get in this society, right? No, you can get where they tell you can get. It doesn't matter if you're qualified or not. And if you're qualified, if they don't give you permission, if you don't go along with their program, you won't get what you deserve. They got a boot on your neck and they won't let you up. Now, the misconception that you can get wherever you want to if you work hard enough is a lie. You can get wherever crooks in public power allow you to get. And if you don't work very hard, you can go wherever they put you. So from a sociological perspective, it's not about how hard you work. It's about crooks in power, about where they let you get. Because I've got a JD, graduated from law school, passed the Tennessee bar exam twice, and I'll never be a lawyer because crooks in power won't let me be. And that's not a personal problem, it's a problem for you, because I would have stood in a courtroom and represented you based on your constitutional rights, and would have did it very damn well like I'm doing this very damn well, regardless of opposition. And if you're on here opposing me, you think I care, then you know, the joke's on you. Because I don't give a damn what you think, just like I don't give a damn what people in public power think. I know what they think. It's not right. It's against you. So let's see how many people got on here. So I hit that little button there. Yeah, here we go. 100 people in here. Wow, that's a bunch of people. So, yeah, I turned the voice off. Wow, okay. So thank y'all for joining us. Get this camera straightened out. So thank y'all for joining me. We'll continue with the dialogue. Wow, my camera thing messing up here. There we go. So thank y'all for joining me. So we'll continue with the dialogue. And out here in suit and tie, representing the public on the street, because they won't let me in a courtroom, presenting my case against the Tennessee government. They're a bunch of dirty crooks. and we'll present our case against them. Talk about how crooked they are and how it affects you. It's not a personal problem. It's a citizenry problem. So it's going to start raining a little bit. We'll see if we can't get under some cover. And and we got some evidence here. One thing I wanted to point out is my selective service registration. My birth certificate. I was born in the USA, selective service, and my birth certificate. And look at this right here. Born in the United States. Born in the United States, Tennessee, all my life. My application denied. Registered for the draft. Showed you that. Denied. Denied a appeal to the Tennessee judiciary to get my law license. Denied. But look at this gentleman here. Because of this right here. Because of this right here. Because I'm here trying to save a life. Now they spin that, but that's me right there. About to could get killed. That's me right there. Because of that, because people in state government lied about me, my birth certificate, and my selective service registration don't make a damn. And let's look at this right here. Here's my selective service registration and a birth certificate. See, I'm an American citizen, selective service registration. And the Tennessee Supreme Court denied my application to review why the Tennessee Board of Law Examiners turned me down. Of course they're going to go along with the program. They're the one that appointed those people. But I deserve my law license. And they ought to give them to me. They won't because they're crooked. And let's just look at this. Right here. This lawyer here. Born in Argentina. Born in Argentina, lawyer in Tennessee now, his appeal was accepted. And he was accepted because he, on his argument, said that he was going to do great things for Argentina. So in our courts, he's going to do great things for Argentinas, people in Argentina, a lot younger than me too. And I was going to do great things for you all. So let's prosecute the Tennessee Supreme Court. So here's my appeal. And here's my birth certificate. And look at this right here. Here's my appeal. Here's my appeal. It was denied. My appeal denied. See, Charles Van Morgan, Tennessee Board of Law Examiners, Board of Law Examiners. The Tennessee Supreme Court says it was denied. Respectfully denied. So I denied my law license. Birth certificate, selective service registration. Born in the USA. Does that make a difference to the Tennessee Supreme Court? This guy here, born in Argentina. Born in Argentina. No birth certificate. No selective service registration. Upon conclusion of the briefs entire record of this case, in the exercise of our discretion, the ultimate authority on interpretation of the rules governing attorney licensing and admission, and pursuant to our plenary power to review the actions of the BLE in interpreting and applying these rules, we conclude that the requirement of Section 701 should not apply to preclude Mr. Guzman from taking the Tennessee bar exam. As a result, the BLE may not hereafter apply Section 1 of the rules. As a result, Mr. Guzman permission to take the Tennessee bar exam. Mr. Guzman permission to take the Tennessee bar exam. causes of appeal are accused and have to okay. So his license was approved. Mine denied, his approved. So he took the bar exam just like me, passed it. He's licensed to practice law from Argentina. That's what your judiciary in Tennessee said. They said that I'm not honest, and he's a lot older than me too. He's a lot younger than me too. So that's what your Tennessee Supreme Court adjudicated to. They denied my case, denied hearing me. I'm the one that kept the courthouse doors open for him while he was over there in another country. And all because of this right here, because they lied about this right here. And they got to stick to their lie. They got to stick to their lie. And I'll finish the pursuit. They got to stick to their lie. All because of this right here. Does it look like I wasn't doing my job? That's me right there. You can't see me. Does it look like I'm not doing my job? I even say that's my exact words. I can't get to him. It looks like he's crunched in there. We can try. So did I not try hard enough? They won't give me my law license, but they sure as hell gave me to somebody in Argentina. I can't go into court and represent you and argue that you're not guilty because they won't let me, because I'm not guilty and they allege falsely that I am. So, crooked courts, crooked Tennessee courts, a foreigner practicing law in Tennessee, and I can't. Mr. Bartlett is an attorney for the state of Tennessee. He's licensed to practice law, got his license, he practices. Now if you come to Tennessee, this is the lawyer you're going to get. Mr. Bartlett, this ain't defamation, it's true. I'm presenting my case against the Tennessee Judiciary, Tennessee Board of Law Examiners. Out on the street, they won't let me practice law. They won't let me use the art of persuasion to persuade the jury that you're not guilty, or persuade a jury, a judge, that they shouldn't take your car or steal your money, because they damn sure will. They won't let me in a courtroom because they say I'm not honest. Well, they won't let me in a courtroom because I'm honest and they're not. So we'll take this to the court of public opinion and the social movement. Truth, vote for truth, vote these people out of office. So Mr. Bartlett, and we'll finish the story about the pursuit I was in where I did nothing wrong. They said I did while they're sitting in office. They were sitting in an office. That's how dirty these people are. They were sitting in an office. They were sitting in an office lying about a trooper that's out there like that. They lied about me. Tennessee troopers, look, you're out there trying to save a life, doing the best you can. They'll lie about that. They're a bunch of dirty liars. They'll lie about that. So Mr. Bartlett got some money for the state in a seizure hearing, and he's the same one, administrative law judge, the same one that prosecuted my case to take my license away from me, lying on me. He got a case, a severe officer seized the lady's money, thinking that it was drug money, and they can seize your money if it's used to facilitate the drug trade. But they have to prove by preponderance of the evidence that it was used to facilitate drug trade. They don't have to prove guilt beyond a reasonable doubt in seizure hearings, just preponderance of the evidence. That's 50.01, tipping the scale a little bit in their favor, tipping it a little bit in your favor, supposedly. But when you got a rigged judge, they come in there, bring anything in there, tell the judge anything, and the judge will add stuff to it and let you lie. I mean, that's administrative judicial procedure. You know, Judge Randall LaFavor, that adjudicated against me, that adjudicated a lot was on when it wasn't on, that allowed perjury in his courtroom, that's a crooked, dirty judge. His picture is not anywhere to be found. You won't find Judge Randall Lefevre in a picture, in a photograph, anywhere. So he was handpicked, selected to hear my case because they picked a judge that ruled in their favor. I had another judge selected. They had one, and they knew probably wouldn't go in their favor. So they handpicked Judge Lefevre because they knew they had him bought, paid for. But you can't find his picture anywhere. They put my picture out all over the news. They have put the trooper's picture out, and they shouldn't. The one that had the wreck in Maryville, that's of national prominence, national attention. They put my picture everywhere, trying to get me killed, trying to put a hit out on me. There's more than one way to put a hit out on somebody. They can pay somebody to go kill you, or they can say that you killed somebody, you let somebody burn to death, and put your picture out there and say, hey, he let somebody burn to death, we're the government. That's putting a hit out on you. Same damn thing, Lord Russell. I know what you did. You did something dirty because you're a dirty hitman, a hitman in the legislature. I might have had an uneducated, dirty hitman in the legislature because you never been to law school. You didn't have to. They lifted you up from the gutter trash that you are and put you in the legislator's office, hailing you as a hero when you're a dumbass for getting yourself hurt. You don't see any scratches on me. And his friend, Major Heatherly. So, Mr. Bartlett got some money from a seizure, and a Sevierville police officer seized the money, thinking it was drug money, and later he found out, he got proof, the lady told him that it wasn't drug money, that it was money that she got from an inheritance. So she showed the police officer that, hey, this is inheritance money, this is where my mother died, and this is the money she gave me from bank accounts, because she just had cash in her car. So she proved that to the Sevierville police officer, and he had already seized the money. So when he goes to court about the seizure hearing to testify that it was drug money, he doesn't testify it's drug money. He testifies to the fact that she showed him the papers that she shows the judge and shows Attorney Bartlett, that it was an inheritance money, so they didn't have a right to seize it. Attorney Bartlett, the judge rules against the state and gives her back her money, rules she should be giving her back her money. And Attorney Bartlett, the same one that prosecuted me, took my job away from me, lied on me, tried to present a false picture of what happened, said that he appealed the case, still trying to get the lady's money after he knew, based on facts, and the officer that seized it said that he had made a mistake. Attorney Bartlett for the state of Tennessee still appealed that case to try to steal the lady's money, even though he knew it was falsely seized. It shouldn't have been seized. Still trying to appeal it. Come through Tennessee and see if they won't get your property. Even if you have proof, the attorneys for the state will still try to seize it. Now, the judge in that case, I don't know if it was adjudicated appropriately. I don't know if the appeals court gave her stuff back or not, but that's a Tennessee judge. Am I presenting my case to him? I'm telling you, Attorney Bartlett, it's not defamation, it's true. Defamation is unprivileged, false communication that tends to lower somebody in the standing of the community, cause people not to want to deal with them, which is what they did to me, except for its privilege, disseminated to at least a third person. So like if I'm talking to you and running you down to your face and nobody else is around, that's not defamation. If I'm telling somebody else about you, that's a third person, that's defamation. If I'm talking about you down and I'm where other people can hear me and I know that's defamation. So unprivileged. So these judges get to defame people, these judiciary in Tennessee, and they do it all the time. Go in one of these courtrooms and listen to some of them. And I'd ask people to do that and report back to me through my little survey. It's anonymous. Listen to these judges go off on people after in their courtrooms, say nasty, dirty stuff to them. That's defamation. It's false. Accuse them of some sick things behind the bench because they know they can. You can't sue them. They think they're God sitting back there. They need to be voted out of office. What they need to do, they can't even control themselves. They're such sick people. So people coming through Tennessee, I know a man that got his property seized. He had 3 cars seized. He came through Tennessee. A trooper accused him of using his car for drug purposes. He went through the administrative hearing, came down here to Tennessee in another truck, very expensive truck, to contest the the seizure of his truck through an administrative judge, same administrative judges that took my job for me and added false evidence, Judge Lefevre, that you never find a picture of, that hide behind secrecy and hide behind lies to rule for the governor, and got his truck seized. And then when he was down here trying to get his truck back that he had seized from a trooper, drove another truck, the trooper seized the other truck that he drove down here in. So he seized 2 of his trucks. And what do you think his chances are of getting his property back before a dirty Tennessee judge? Not very likely, are they? So the trooper sees 2 of his vehicles, and he comes back to another hearing to try to get his 2 trucks back now. And the trooper tried to seize that truck, but he drove a rental vehicle where it wasn't his, so he couldn't seize that one. But he got 2 vehicles seized. Come to Tennessee at your own risk. Your own damn risk, as long as these thugs are in power. It's not safe for residents. It's not safe for people driving through here. It's not safe because of the judiciary. A lot of stuff, people make mistakes, could be straightened out if we had an honest, decent judiciary. But we got a judiciary that puts foreigners in our courtrooms to argue for foreigners and don't allow Tennesseans to argue for you that aren't double agents. The history of protecting the public. So let's continue presenting my case. We'll talk about social movement tactics. And this is a big one. Arguing out on the street before 1.2 million people. We've reached 1.2 million people in about 2.5 months about the state of affairs in the judiciary in Tennessee. Not the government. We're the government. The people that have infiltrated our government, even foreigners wrongfully, and infiltrated our higher offices and our law enforcement agencies. So they won't let me practice law. Mr. Bartlett and Miss Martin are practicing law. Miss Martin lied about stuff. She was on the hearing to try to take my job from me. She, in that seizure case where Mr. Bartlett was in 2014, it's the truth, it ain't defamation. Attorney Deborah Martin said that when I was parked, obeying the general order, letting the clock run out, that I said, that's going to be the vehicle. So she's saying that I knew the vehicle was back there because I seen it and drove back past it intentionally knowing there's a wreck. But that's not what I said. So she lied in court papers, Attorney Martin. Deborah Martin, she's the one I complained to that had a complaint on her desk about lying Lord Russell. So she's going to get rid of the person that complained that's providing for public safety. That's what Tennessee lawyers do. So Deborah Martin committed a violation of the Code of Ethics. But it doesn't matter if you're a government attorney, you can violate any law or rule you want to, and the judge will say that that's the truth because the judge didn't do anything about her lying. In fact, he added a lie. He added a light on the car. So I was in pursuit of the car because it wouldn't stop to protect the public. I hadn't even got a license plate yet. If I'd had a license plate, then that would have made me more likely to end the pursuit and let the car go on, because if you get a license plate, it gives you the residence of the owner. So you can terminate the pursuit and try to catch them on the scene because they can lie about who's driving. But if they get up to 90 miles an hour as fast, then you can terminate the pursuit. If you get the license plate, I hadn't got close enough to get a license plate yet. He was going so fast that go to their house and try to arrest them there, which I'd done before. I had a case in Jefferson City, in Jefferson, where a man in the daytime refused to stop on the interstate, turned off the interstate, and he started driving around cars recklessly. And supervisor even got mad at me for terminating this pursuit, but he was endangering other vehicles. And I had his license plate. I knew where he lived. And I remember getting mad at me, and I terminated the pursuit. I wasn't going to continue to pursue a speeder that was driving dangerously, about to hit other people. And I got his license plate, and I went to his house and arrested him at his house a couple of days later. And he admitted that he was, so I got his license plate. But I wasn't even able to get the man's license plate. And so I was trying to at least get his license plate to go to his house to arrest him later. And I had to slow down for a red light because the light turned red. And according to the Vanessa Free K Act that I mentioned to the Board of Law Examiners, I'm doing everything right. They're doing everything lying because they want to hit out on me because I've complained against one of their good old boys. And you can't do that. It doesn't matter that their good old boys bought his position in the first damn place. Little Russell got promoted for $500. It probably cost you about, I think it was $5,000. Probably cost you about $10,000 today, or maybe more. But it doesn't matter how you protect the public. You all don't matter to them. You all are insignificant. They want to keep the roads safe enough for themselves. They don't care about you. They want to keep the roads safe so that they can drive down the road themselves without hitting a sober person. Yeah, that's what I said. That's the truth. Because I got in trouble for arresting attorneys' children. They want the roads clear of sober people so their kids won't run into them while they're drunk. And that's sad state of truth affairs. So we're here prosecuting the state, people in government power, telling you the truth about it. So he got a pretty good lead on me. Went out of my side a couple of times. There's a video on here, an expert witness testifies to a pretty good lot of this. So I'm looking down the road about 50 yards ahead of about half a football length, maybe a little further. You're tracking taillights, and at night, he turned off, and I had to slow down, so he got a pretty good lead on me. He turns off a road at night. You have to go find the road they turn off of. It's not like TV, it's the real thing. You have to go actually find the road that they turned off of, which is difficult to do, to know the exact one. So I found the road, and I seen his taillights. So you're tracking two taillights is all you're tracking. He went over the crest of a little hill, and you lose his taillights. Went over another, and I lost his taillights. And the camera's on the top of the car. It's not a body camera, it's on the top of the car. You can put a camera on a helicopter, and the camera's going to see a lot of things that the pilot doesn't see. Just because the camera picks something up don't mean the pilot's seen it. And there's no way, the colonel said that there's no way that I could have missed that wreck, that he knows for sure. There's no way you can know for sure what somebody else sees. He's putting a hit out on me. The colonel of the Highway Patrol put a hit out on me. He wanted me to get killed, is what he wanted. I know where he lives. I know exactly where he lives. I can tell you his address right now, but I'm not a thug like him. I'm not Colonel Trott. I don't wish his death. I want him to be prosecuted for his crimes. He was in 2 pursuits. He admitted deadly pursuits. Well, he was in pursuits and in shootings. He admitted under oath when he was in my case. That ought to be investigated. Statute of limitations is not up on murder, Trotts. You better hope I don't get in power. We'll investigate you and see if you murdered somebody. I think you may have. You tried to get me killed, putting a hit out on me, saying that a young kid burned to death, and putting out my picture on the front page of the paper, releasing it to the news media, and releasing the video with a lie. You put a hit out on me is what you did. Your internal affairs cleared me. That's Tracy Trott. Got his picture up at the academy. That'll be taken down. That'll be a mugshot. That's what they do to you. The criminals in state power have you arrested. Well, good luck with that. It didn't stick, did it? And nothing you do is going to stick. Because I'm a fighter and you're a coward, and the truth matters. You forgot about that, didn't you? The truth has weight and value. It matters. And if you lie, there's stuff to prove that you lied. You have to be careful about lying, because somebody can look over stuff and they can say, hey, this is a lie. And there's plenty of it in my case. Buy my book, the former Trooper Charles Van Morton's story, in an effort to protect lives and correct the record. $149, I'll send you an electronic copy, or $199, I'll send you a hard copy. I only print them out, have them printed out up on demand, and I'll send you a hard copy of all the damn lies. They're so alarming and astonishing, it'll make your head spin. Say, how the hell they get by with that? They got by with it because the Tennessee judiciary is crooked as hell. The Tennessee judiciary is set up to approve whatever they tell them to approve, and to sanction and put you in prison and take your property. And anybody that comes through the dirty state of Tennessee, that's what it is. And we got a Christian governor. Yeah, right. So he topped the hill, and I lost sight of him. You're looking for 2 dots down the road is what you're tracking. Now, I might have broke the pursuit off. He's going so fast, but I hadn't even got a license plate yet. You can't let every speeder go, then everybody runs. They know they'll get by with it. I didn't even know for sure what kind of car it was. Hadn't got a make yet. I thought it was a Nissan. It turned out, I think, to be a Subaru. It was dark. And he tops a hill, and I'm looking about 50 yards down the road when I topped the hill, looking down the road. And didn't see anything. And the road forks. So I'm looking, did he go right? Is see tail lights there? Did he go left? Is see tail lights there? Didn't see anyone. So where did he go? And I'm moving. I slow down to try to see if I can go left or right on the road, because I'm looking on the road. I'm not looking off the road. I had no reason to think that he went off the road. I had no knowledge of that. Everybody has knowledge of that later, but that's not fair to hold somebody to knowledge that you have after the fact. That'd be a fallacy. That'd be unfair and impossible. You're putting them in an impossible situation. That's like the lottery will be won by somebody, and it's several $1 million. And when they win the lottery, they'll show you the store that they sold the lottery ticket. Everybody think, well, that was easy. I could have went right there to that lottery and bought the ticket. So you think, well, that was easy to win that ticket, but that's hindsight bias. Because you didn't know. You know now. That's it. A, when you don't have B and C. If you get to C, and you have more knowledge when you get to C than when you're at A, but if you put that knowledge on C back on A that you didn't have, well, that's a real good trick. You don't know that yet, so it's not that easy. You're responsible for the information that you have at the time that you're at. That's all we can humanly do. That's why every day in football games, you'll have a referee, or you'll have a coach throw the red challenge flag. The referee will call it wrong on the field all the time. Sometimes they get it wrong, sometimes they get it right. Because in live action, perception, reaction, human beings are limited. There's a lot of things you can't see in real time. Obviously. Trot knows this, he lied. You can rewind a tape and see things that you didn't see in real time that you couldn't have seen because you didn't know. After the fact, you know where to look. You know a lot of things you don't know. It's called hindsight bias. It's a real phenomenon. It happens all the time. That's what they did to me. They've held me responsible for stuff they knew that I didn't know at the time that I couldn't have known. That's humanly impossible. So they've held me responsible for humanly impossible knowing something that they know now and tricking the public by putting that on me. That's what they're doing. That's why I can't practice law. And they know they're doing that. Their own expert witness testified that. Listen to the tape. So I top the hill. I'm looking down the road. I catch the car that now I know is a wrecked car, was the person that was fleeing from me. I know that now. I didn't know that at the time. That's the truth. Couldn't have known. I catch it out of the corner of my eye. And what I seen, and I'm not responsible to see and know stuff at the time when there's no way I can do that. It's an impossible circumstance. So because of somebody else running. I mean, so if he wanted me to see him, he should have wrecked better than that. Overturned or flipped in the road or something. I had no control on how he wrecked off the road. That's not my fault. That's on him. He did that. Why should I be responsible that he didn't wreck in a visible manner? That's absurdity. That's absurd what they're trying to, and they pull that off in public opinion, putting a hit out on me. You know, Tracy Trotz did that. He knows that. No one that drove with him in the car at the scene testified in front of my face under oath. None of them did. So I'm looking down the road. I catch the car out of the corner of my eye. and the newspaper lies on me. And I didn't see a wreck. I seen the tail end of a car that didn't have any damage on it, because the car hit a tree head on, and all the damage was in the front end of the car. Now, it knocked a tire off, but you can't see a tire in the dark. It's black. You can't see that coming over the top of the hill looking down the road. And I slowed down because I'm trying to figure out, go left or right. I don't see taillights. I'm tracking two taillights in the road, trying to keep up with two taillights. And he's going pretty fast, so I'm in a hurry. And I slow down trying to hurry to figure out where he went. And Attorney Garza says that I seen him and took off. That's a lie, Garza. That's a lie that endangered my children. No, thank you. Yeah, and I mean, yeah, greatest attorney in Knoxville. Yeah, right. He lied on me. I didn't run from anybody. If you come out here on the sidewalk, I won't run from you. I wasn't running from anybody. You lied in your court documents against me. You lied. He ought to be sanctioned for lying. He lost his case against me in federal court. So I'm looking down the road. I slow down. Anybody would. You're trying to say you look left and you don't see taillights, so you slow down. You look right and you don't see him, so you slow down trying to figure out to see him. I seen a car off the road out of the corner of my eye, and it did. And I went through my mind, is that it? Is that it? And I'm just glancing. I don't even look full at it because I'm in a hurry, trying to catch up to somebody, get a license plate. It's not a slow Sunday afternoon drive. They act like the car's in the road, overturned. I slam on my brakes. Damn, we're going to get the hell out of here. Somebody wrecked and took off. That dirty lie. They're flipping this. Propaganda, false propaganda. And the bad thing about it is the judiciary in Tennessee went right along with the program. You'll never find a picture anywhere. Real good. Who's the cowards? Who's the cowards? And they won't let me represent you in a courtroom when they're trying to put this stuff on you that they do every day. A Tennessee prosecutor don't care about convicting guilty people. That's too easy. The crowning jewel in their cap is getting innocent people put in jail. That's what they like to do. So, how you doing? So they'll prosecute you for nothing. And that's a fact. And I would defend you. But I'm out here on the sidewalk. We need to put public pressure on them to stop what they're doing. So I catch it out of the corner of my eye, and I think, is that it? Is that it? And I think, it can't be. Literally went through my mind. I tell him what I was thinking. Colonel Trot says, I know he's seen the car. I told him what was going through my mind. There's nothing about seeing a car in a wreck and going on. What I seen was the tail end of the car had no lights on, and it looked like a parked car. So it can't be, because it's sitting there, no taillights on. I didn't see any damage. There wasn't no damage in the back end. That's all I seen. Now the camera can show a whole wide view. I didn't see everything the camera says. That's absurd. Happens in football every day. A referee in real time will call a call wrong. Doesn't mean he's doing anything deception. Deception means he didn't see it in real time. There's things you can't see in real time, especially under the circumstance of a high-speed pursuit after dark. It was dark. I mean, they leave that part out. It was dark. On their papers, they say there were street lights in there. There was no street light under that tree. A tree even makes a car more dark. When you drive down the road, look, when a car is parked under a tree, it's even more dark. You can't even see it. They try to say a taillight was on. No, it wasn't. That's a lie. They put a taillight on to make the car more visible. That whole case rests on the visibility of that car. It was off the road. They say it was close to the road. It was off the road. They try to say it was street lights. It was dark. It was at night in a royal area. It wasn't under a street light. That's not true. And even if it was, I didn't see it. I didn't have a responsibility to see it. I had a responsibility to make sure I was on the road and do the best I could do. And I didn't wreck or hit anybody. I wasn't a danger to anybody. And they make me out to be dangerous. The dangerous person is Tracy Trotz, Major Stacy Heatherly, Lion Lowell Russell, and Attorney Bartlett and Attorney Martin and Judge Lefevre and the Tennessee Appeals Court and the Tennessee Supreme Court. That's the dangerous people that have raised your fatality rate, taking me off the road. Of course, if you're out here combating dangerous drunk drivers, you're going to be in around wrecks like that. It happens when you're not around. If you're trying to apprehend them the best you can, you're going to be in around that stuff. He might have wrecked without me being there. He was doing 89 in a 40 before I even laid eyes on him. And because I'm trying to apprehend him, all of a sudden, my life is ruined. That's called propaganda, Trotz. I'm not buying it. I never will, and I don't think the public will. You're a dirty coward. I didn't run from anybody, and I'm damn sure not running from you, you dirty coward. I'm not a coward. I know where you live. I'm not dirty like that. You're not only a coward, you're a dirty coward. And that's the truth. So how am I doing about convicting that dirty rat? That's the truth. So I didn't see him. I seen a car that I thought was a parked car. That's what I think. It was reasonable to think that. Even their own expert that works for them said that. And I guess left. Maybe he's left. And then I go left and go down the road, try to floor it, try to catch up with him. And he might have been right. I didn't know. I'm just guessing. I'm just hoping that he went left, and then because I'm trying to find him. You know, you're trying to catch a violator. That happens all the time. They turn off, you go off that road. Sometimes you catch them, sometimes you don't. I had no knowledge that he had wrecked and killed himself. I had no knowledge of that at all. It wasn't my responsibility. It wasn't my fault. I was involved in his drunk driving that wreck. He should have stopped. And I'm a bad person because I was trying to catch a violator. Yeah, real good flip. Ain't working here. I know what happened. I was there. I wasn't running from anybody. I'm not running from his dad. You know, I didn't run from your son. I'm not running from you. You know, what you've done to my boys, my children, is pretty horrific. And you got to change your way. You know, I'm just saying, come out with the truth. And I know Lowell Russell lied to you. That's sad that he used that circumstance to fire you up wrongfully. And if I lost one of my sons, I'd feel bad too, but I wouldn't blame the trooper that was trying everything they could do to save their life. That's sad what happened to your son. A lot of children make mistakes because alcoholism is a social problem. And I'm not against you, but what you did to me and my family is dirtbag wrong, and you ought to straighten it out. That's wrong. What they lied to you about me, it's not true. I was trying to protect and save your son. I hate what happened, but it's not my fault. And the lies they told you is Lowell Russell's fault. So I didn't see the car, and Attorney Garza, the big famous fancy man here in Knoxville, says that I went down the street and hid. Did he read the general order? He did. He didn't care. He wanted to rig stuff up where he can go to federal court and get a bunch of money. Yeah, right. Well, you lost, Garza. And all before this was going on, he was up there at the courthouse filming in front of the news media, smiling, talking about how the trooper went and hid somewhere, and the trooper was dirty, and having Major Stacy Heaven, listen, troopers, I'll be on the dirtbag side, and trying to get rid of you. You know, so when you go do your job every day, remember your worst enemy might be look at the top of THPP, and even retired captains will tell you that. So I didn't see the car. I seen the car, but I didn't see it as a wreck. I thought it was a parked car. Didn't see anything on it that appeared to be a wreck to me at the time. And I'm in a hurry. I'm trying to catch the car that's speeding from me, at least get their license plate. And nothing I did was wrong. Nothing I did was unreasonable. And it was all right, 100% right. And wouldn't have been nothing I could do anyway. And so I didn't see him. And the Highway Patrol has a pursuit policy. Garza said that I went down the road and hid. No, I'm going down the road to try to find the violator because he wrecked in such a manner in a dark place I couldn't see him. Even an eyewitness on the scene said 6 times she couldn't see the car, and they changed the reports, lied on the reports. She looked out her window, couldn't see a crash. The trooper Walker that investigated it, that's in the warrants department that's killed somebody here in Knoxville, lied on a police report. He said she looked out her window and seen a car hit a tree. She didn't say that. She said she looked out her window and couldn't see anything because the car's off the road in the dark, just like what I said. But they changed the wording because the facts disagree with the narrative that they're trying to sell, that they've sold for 13 years now. But I don't give up. I don't give up. The truth has weight and value. I'm not a coward. I'm not running from anybody. It's on, boy. It's on till this hop starts beating it. He'd like to stop it. That's how dirtbag that man is. Straighten out your own, boy, or you're going to pay the consequences, I assure you. Not in violence. Hey, I'm a trained attorney. I got training in persuasion. You got training in dirty, don't you? Let's see what weighs more. I believe the truth matters. You don't believe it does. You shouldn't be in the legislature. Your hind end ought to be in the jailhouse. You ought to have a steel pot and 3 hots in a cot. What you ought to pay for the travesty out here on the highways. What you ought to pay for, you and the major. I don't care who you are. The truth matters. So, and I'm trying to convict you, and I'll keep trying until it gets done. I believe it will. I don't know. We'll see. I'm talking to 1.2 million people. So Attorney Garza, you know, one of them that's in the system, he's got his law license. He ought to be sanctioned for lying about me. So he said I went down the road and hid. Now I'm going down the road to find the violator to try to get a license plate to go to his house, which I did just a few months before when I was in another pursuit. And I also did it a few years before that in a pursuit in Jefferson County where I actually went to the guy's house and arrested him and got a conviction. So I didn't run from wrecks and from people, and been catching them since the early 90s. They lied. They're a bunch of dirty liars. Sell a story, put your picture out, try to have you killed. Well, I'm not dead, and that'd be a problem for them, wouldn't it? So, and learn a little bit of art of persuasion too. So we'll keep giving it a shot. Not a violent shot. That's why I'm down here suit tied. It's not a war of bullets, although they might try to make it that. It's a war of propaganda, persuasion, and the persuasion and the truth is on my side. I know. I was there. I seen it, and they try to gaslight you, saying what you see you really didn't see, or the way the facts are, they're not really there. And I had some other stuff. They're a bunch of dirty liars, crooks in our courthouses. I'm speaking to help you. It ain't about me. So thank y'all so very much. So many people got in here. Yeah, we got a bunch of people in here. So I continued going, and the State Highway Patrol has a 15 to 30 second rule, which you can keep pursuing somebody that you don't see. Like if they turn a corner, they lose your sight. You don't have to immediately end the pursuit. But if you don't see the car that you're trying to pursue, according to General Order 411, if you don't see them for between 15 to 30 seconds, you can all the way to 30 seconds. If you don't see them, then you have to terminate the pursuit, because the ideal behind it is that they don't want you out running around blind with your emergency equipment on at a high rate of speed trying to find a car. If you can find them, if you lose sight of them, you have at the most 30 seconds to find them. If you can't find them within 30 seconds, then you have to terminate the pursuit. You can't keep running around with emergency equipment on for 2 or 3 minutes. You can't keep running around with emergency equipment on after 31 seconds. They'll literally suspend you. So I hadn't seen him since I topped the hill. That's the last time I knew in my mind I'd seen him. What I had seen was a parked car, what I believe is a parked car off the side of the road, because it was dark. The wreck wasn't able to be seen. All that could be seen at that time was the tail end of a car that's sitting there parked, it appeared to me. And it would have done it to anybody in a high-speed pursuit after dark. It was dark. You couldn't see it. Another witness couldn't see it. They changed that, though. But anyway, so I decided to try to get them left, to go left. So I had at least 30 seconds to reacquire them. So if you lose sight of a car, you can keep trying to find them if you can find them within 30 seconds. If you can't find them in 30 seconds, you have to terminate the pursuit. Or you get suspended, because they won't let you just run around trying to look for somebody that you don't see. So as long as you can see them every 30 seconds, then you can still keep pursuing them. Like you can lose sight of them, and then if it's like 25 seconds, and then you see them within 25 seconds, then you can still pursue them. And then if they turn off somewhere else and you lose them, if you can see them within 25 seconds, you can keep pursuing them. So you don't have to keep constant visual on them. But if you lose sight of them and it expands to 31 seconds, then you got to call in and say, I'm terminating, I can't find them. The 30-second rule. So I went down the road following the procedure. Now Garza, he knew the procedure. And so I went left. I didn't know if it went right or left, but I thought, yeah, he had to go either way. I don't see him. And I'm tracking real red dots. So I speed up to try to find him. And they say I slowed down because I seen the wreck and chose to ignore it. That's not why I slowed down. I slowed down because the road forks. So look at the road. It forks right there. There's a right that he was trying to go, hindsight now, and a left. And I slowed down because I didn't see the lights, so automatically I slowed down trying to figure out where he's at. see if I can see him, because there's an unknown situation there. So I think, trying to see if I can see him. So I slow down, see if I can see him. When I slow down, I seen the car glance off the side of my corner of my eye. It looks like a parked car. I even go through my eye. Is that it? Is that it? No, it can't be. It's a parked car. No lights on, parked, no damage. I witnessed it, see. So I elect left. I think, well, maybe he went left, so maybe he's outrunning me. So I speed up to try to find him left. I know I got 30 seconds to reacquire him. I'm not giving up that easy. So I take off left. And when I knew, I hadn't seen him since I topped the hill. And I knew that the 15, 30-second rule, I didn't know exactly how much time it was. But when you're in pursuit of somebody, you aren't watching the clock. You got a general idea in your mind, and if you know that you've lost sight of somebody, then you're thinking that, well, I've lost sight of him for a certain amount of time. You don't know exactly how much, but 30 seconds isn't that much. So I floored it, went down the road, and I'm thinking, well, I don't see him, and it's been a few seconds. So you don't get in trouble for terminating early, but you get in trouble for terminating late. So I terminated the pursuit, and just like in training, the supervisors disagree about what the training is. So even Major Sanders said I pull over to the side of the road when it was safe to do that, let my camera run like the general order says, and that's what I did. And then they're trying to figure out, they're trying to rig the wreck, trying to blame me, and Donahoe says that I didn't follow the general order, that's not part of what I'm supposed to do, pull over the side of the road. But in the written report, my captain says I did. So which one is it? So I'm supposed to decide. So there's a discrepancy there, even among the supervisors, even among the leadership in the highway patrol. One of them says I did right, and one of them says I didn't. So I'm out on the road at night, and I'd done that before. And one of them's trying to lie and say, well, you didn't do right, even though the other one said I did. So who the heck's lying when two supervisors? One of them says, we can't get him on that. He's done like he's trained. The other says, we can get him on that anyway. We can get him on that anyway. So they're just trying to find a reason to take my job from me. Just like they'll try to find a reason to put you in jail and take your property. It ain't isolated to me. They'll look for a reason, and you won't have an attorney that'll go in there and say, well, no, wait a minute. That's a bunch of hocus pocus. One of them agrees, one of them don't. The trooper on the road is doing what the one agrees to. So there was a reason why he did that, because the one that said that he done the right thing was agreeing with him. So we're going to hold against him what they disagree with amongst themselves? Wow, no, I was doing the right thing, Donahoe. You're a creep and a liar that has contributed to the fatality rate skyrocketing because you helped take the #1 troopers out on the road arresting drunk drivers while you sat in an office, you dirty coward. Now, he even got promoted after that. Wow, I mean, they get promoted for their stupidity. So I went down the road. I knew it had been over a little while. I didn't know exactly since I didn't see the car, so I terminated the pursuit. I thought this is useless, and pulled over like where it was safe to do, and let my camera for 1 minute. Now, Attorney Garza, he knew the general order. I'm sure he looked into it. He says I went down the road and hit. I still had my blue lights on. They even asked me internal affairs because I'd been an officer before, and I know when you pull over the side of the road like that, the safest place I could was still on the road. You could get run over by a car, because I got hit in a car. Had to go to the hospital one time because I got hit by a car in the road. So I was leaving my blue lights on, even though I terminated pursuit, watching and letting the camera run, showing I wasn't going after me anymore because I didn't want to get run over by a car. So you have to let your camera run a minute, and then you're clear. Then you can go. You watch the camera, you watch the clock in your car, and it doesn't have a second hand. So it was like, say it's 3:30. So if you wait till 3:31, you haven't waited a minute. You got to wait a full minute. So if it's 3:30, you have to wait till 3:32 because you have to let it wait a full minute. So I'm letting it run a full minute. That's when they dispatched me back to the wreck. They said that a car had wrecked. I heard the county, and then my dispatcher dispatched me. And I think, well, was that it back there? And I would have checked. I didn't know. And I said, well, 10-4, that's probably going to be the vehicle. And And Attorney Martin can hear that recording. It's World Wide Web. Listen to it. She writes in legal papers that I said that's going to be the vehicle, which is certain, because she's saying I'm certain it was going to be the vehicle back there because I intentionally passed it knowing somebody needed help. So she wrote in her legal papers that I said I knew it was back there because I said 10-4, that's going to be the vehicle. That's not what I said. That's not what I said. You can listen to the tape. So she lied in legal papers. I said 10-4, that's probably going to be the vehicle. That's not certain, but maybe. There's nothing wrong with that state. I didn't know for sure. So we got their own expert that agreed with me. I didn't have time to see that vehicle. Couldn't have seen it. And they lied about that. They lied. And that's why they won't let me practice law. And here's what I said in the hearing. They don't care. In the hearing, I said. In the hearing, I said the truth is the truth. And if I get terminated over this, I know I was terminated wrongfully, that I should not have been. I was mistreated by the Highway Patrol. That's what I said. Back in 2011, in January, in December, at their little hearing, at their little fake hearing, that they lied about me, and that's still true today. And they bring me in these hearings for me. You say that's 12 years ago. What does that matter now? 13 years ago. Well, they bring me in these hearings before the Board of Law Examiners to try to say that I'm dishonest. And they want me, because judges adjudicated falsely. The judges got it wrong. They did. They got it wrong. And they want me to raise my hand, swear, tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth. And they want me to lie to them and say the judge got it right. And that'd be a lie. So if I lie, then they're still not going to give me my law license. But they're trying to get me to lie. They're trying to get me to go along with a crooked, corrupt judicial court system. And trying to deceive the public. Want me to be a part of that. I'm not going to be a part of that. That's not true. They got all these witnesses. These criminaloids that wanted to get promoted. Major Sheriff Sanders, Tim Ogle, liars, Sergeant Stacy Headley, who's now a major now, Andy Shelton, Shannon Binkley, Terrell Johnson, who lied under oath, Randall Cockrell, Chris Dye, James Fillers, that's the lady over Human Resources, Randy Nichols, the prosecutor in Tennessee, what a big liar, dismissed hundreds of cases, blaming it on me. What a gaslight. I arrest him at night by myself. He was up there in the city county building protected by police and dismissed hundreds of cases and blamed what he did on me, saying I wasn't competent to testify, but a district attorney in another county, in Claiborne County, subpoenaed me. They paid an expert witness, J.G. Pollock, a lot of money to come and prove a lie. So they'll use your money, grievance, and any witness exhibit on the grievance list and required for a vote. So they paid an expert witness, Mr. J. Pollock, to come down here and lie under oath. Your tax money facilitated their lie and raised the fatality rate. Your tax money paid for him because Major Heatherly needed to prove a lie. Stacy Heatherly and him went to the crash scene. A year later, when they seen that I wasn't going to back down, I was telling the truth. I'm not going to let them stick something on me that ain't true. So your tax money paid for their liar to come down here in a hotel room, stay several nights, to come down here to Knoxville over a year after the wreck, to shut down the road for them to park a car and then drive by and see the car that they parked and say that's similar to what happened to me. But I parked the car and then went in pursuit of them and didn't see the car that I parked there. I didn't park a car anywhere. That's evidence I didn't have. And Colonel Trott, the thug that he is, now when a wreck happened on 4/11 where a 16-year-old was killed in a pursuit by an officer that worked on wreck that he did a pursuit. He didn't come to that wreck when an innocent person died as a result of a trooper's pursuit where he didn't turn on emergency equipment. When John Pettigo was in pursuit, he didn't come down here to that pursuit. And an innocent person died as a result of John Pettigo turning around on the car and not turning on his emergency equipment. So that was the wreck that happened that I wasn't involved in the wreck. I was involved in a pursuit trying to stop the wreck before it happened. He said because of the magnitude of the incident. I felt like magnitude of this case required me to travel to the scene to personally view it and drive the road. So him and Captain Donahoe and Lieutenant Danny Thomas, neither on December 5th, neither one of them on December 5th. On December the 9th, they interviewed me in Internal Affairs and put me back to work. So he said because of the magnitude of the incident, John Pettigo, 2 people killed, 1 innocent. That's a pretty magnitude incident. He didn't come to that incident, so he lied. It wasn't the magnitude of the incident. He came down to the scene. He came down to the scene to do a hit job. It was a hit job. It was a mafia hit job by his corrupt THP criminal organization. That's what it was. And he put my picture out trying to get me killed, saying a young man died. Yeah, Trots. I'm not dirty like you. I'm not putting out your address. So, Trooper Pettigo, he didn't come down to the incident when Trooper John Pettigo, Sharon Honeycutt, wrecked up in Sevier County. Somebody killed her, beat her up with a baseball bat, put her in a car, drove her down the hill, tried to fake it like it was a wreck. Obviously, you got that many bruises on you, you don't do that going down a hill. And in training, they tell you, be careful when you're investigating wrecks, be on mind that a lot of wrecks are homicides that are made out to look like a wreck. So take that in consideration when you're investigating a wreck. It's not something THP's not aware of. It happens all the time. People murder people, put them in a car, push them off a cliff. A stupid trooper thinks that they got killed in the wreck. But when their head's all bashed in and it's just a wreck going down a hill, you know, that's a little excessive. Maybe there's a little more to it. Hold off on your investigation, look into it a little more. Don't just write it up as a single car wreck where somebody drove off a curb, which is what he did, John Pettigo, the same one that killed 2 people up in Sevier County. Trots didn't come to that scene, did he? Didn't come to either scene. Magnitude of the incident. This is a homicide that was mistaken by John Pettigo as a wreck, and he worked it as a wreck. Because he worked it as a wreck, not a homicide, the suspect got several weeks ahead where he wasn't even being chased. The family pointed out they found the bat where she was beat up with, put pressure on the Sevier County Sheriff's Department. They opened it back up and determined it was a homicide. John Pettigo worked it as a wreck. So, caused somebody to escape justice for several weeks. Same one that turned around on the woman up in Sevier County on 411, didn't turn on his emergency equipment, caused a 16-year-old to get killed. They covered it up. They'll cover stuff up. They're the same department that's going to tell you what happened in the wreck in Maryville involving the THP officer that hit a Maryville motor officer that's of worldwide attention. They're not going to tell you the truth. They're going to spin a story, whatever they think's good for THP. The truth won't even be in there. They'll lie about stuff. So here's this woman right here got Sharon Honeycutt, death announced a traffic wreck. Lionette Trooper John Pettigo caused someone to escape justice and her sister still suffers. So John Pettigo worked her wreck as a wreck, worked her homicide as a wreck and not a homicide. Gave the perpetrator of the murder several weeks to get by with murdering her and escape justice. So our Tennessee courts have illegal aliens and enemies of people of Tennessee in position of power in Tennessee government. Steve Sacrapone wasn't even born in America. Now he's a lieutenant. He doesn't have a birth certificate. Doesn't have a selective service registration. If he gets behind me and turns on blue lights, I have to stop. So that'd be kind of ridiculous, wouldn't it? That's what Tennessee government does. So even Trott says he came down here because of the seriousness of the incident. That's what Tracy Trott said. You read his report. He didn't come down here when Pettigo got that incident wrong to view the scene. He didn't come down here when John Pettigo turned around on 411 and two innocent people were, one innocent person, one person running from him was killed. He didn't come down to, that's a serious incident. So he lied. He's a liar. Lied under oath. Wrote that in the police report. He came down here to conduct a hit job and put out false propaganda against me. I'm here to reject that false propaganda in front of about 1.2 million people, tell you the truth about it. Are you listening? Maybe Trott's listening. Hey, Trott, I'm not running from anybody. I don't give a damn who you are. The truth matters, you dirty rat. So, and I'm not a dirty rat like him. Like I said, I'm not giving out his address. So they even disagree with themselves. If you lie, one person tells one thing, you better get your story straight between each other. They even disagree with each other. Mr. Gibbons says, okay, do you know why he slowed down? I slowed down. I explained to you why I slowed down. I slowed down because the road forked and I'm trying to figure out which way he went. That's why I slowed down. Where he was going to go right, that's where he wrecked, but I slowed down because the road forked and I didn't see the taillights. Obviously, he wrecked out of my sight. I didn't see him wreck. Had I been right on him, not slowed down for the red light, I would have seen him go right into the tree like I did in the Pursuit in 93. I'd have seen him go right into the tree like I seen that guy go right into the bank, and I got out and took off chasing. I would have seen him go right into the tree and I'd been right there. But I lost sight of him. But they want to throw that out, so I'm supposed to know the unknown. I lost sight of him. Even the camera loses sight of him. So they lied about that. They lied about that. Took the leading trooper off the road, and they're not out here making drunk driving arrests. They're dirty liars. They're dirty thugs. And now, that happened 13 years ago, but as of 3 months ago, they won't let me practice law because I won't raise my hand and say, hell to Hitler, kill all the Jews. I didn't see that wreck, and I'm not going to lie under oath. I didn't. As a wreck. And the newspaper even lies about that. They say I initially said that I didn't see the wreck, and then I admitted later that I seen it. The Con News, says that. Well, let me tell you something. The play on words. I said I didn't see a wreck, and I didn't see a wreck. I never said I didn't see a car off the road and dismiss it. I didn't say that. So they're trying to say I lied because I said I didn't see a wreck. I never seen a wreck. I seen the car that I now know is a wreck, but I've never lied about that. So they're trying to get any little snippet of information and put it in the wrong circumstance. Here's the truth. Here's the truth. And here's what I've said. I didn't see a wreck. I didn't see a wreck. Had I seen a wreck, I would have stopped. Why wouldn't I stop? I mean, does that make any sense? I got a cookie for going down the road. I mean, I would have stopped. What benefit did I get out of it? I know, I was going to law school, had a Master of Arts in Criminology. I know as a police officer, if you intentionally see a wreck and keep driving, you're going to get in trouble. So I'm doing something that's going to get me in trouble. The reason why I would do that is I didn't see it. I'm doing something intentionally. I saw a wreck and go on. So I know there's a camera on, and this is what they're selling to the public. This is how stupid this is. So I know that there's a wreck there. I see it. I'm trying to find him, and I see him, and I know he wrecked. And there's a camera on. And I know that if I keep going, that I'm going to get in trouble because I see a wreck and keep going. So I do something that I know is going to get me in trouble to keep going. That I know is going to get me in obvious trouble because I see a wreck and keep going. Does that make any sense to anybody? I mean, that's what they sell. They'll sell you to you anything. Try to put a hit out on me. The fact is, I had every reason to stop because I know if I see a wreck and keep going, I'll get in trouble. But I know if I see the wreck and I stop, I'm not going to get in trouble. So why would I do something that's going to get me in trouble? So the fact is, he didn't see it. That's why he didn't stop, because it wasn't seeable, right? So they try to say seen or should have seen. The police officers know he shouldn't have seen. Our own expert says I didn't see it. It was off the road. It was dark. It was at night. I mean, they're trying to act like it's middle of the daytime. Really? It was dark at night. You can't see stuff at nighttime. It's dark. And they're holding me accountable to Superman. That's so ridiculous. It was dark. You didn't see it. I was out working at night. Had it been in the daytime, I might have. Probably would have. It would have been daylight. It was under a tree, even darker. I didn't see it. Man, they want to cover that up. It was dark at night. That's the most craziest thing. And they sold that to the public. And the judges, I mean, they sold that to the judges. Wow, what a bunch of crap. And they'll sell stuff like that on you too, and you'll go to jail for the rest of your life over a bunch of lies. So I seen a car that I thought was a parked car. I've never said that I didn't see the car. I did, and they're trying to play on words. That's dirty. The newspaper's so dirty. These crooked people. Just remember, newspaper reporters, I wasn't running from him, and I won't run from you either. You got that? I mean, they got some bad data. So even the colonel and the commissioner get it wrong. They say, Gibbons' deposition, page 16. Okay, do you know why you slowed down? I slowed down because I'm trying to figure out which way he went, left or right. The road forks when I slowed down. They try to put that evidence and say, well, you slowed down because you seen a wreck and knew somebody needed help. No, that's not why. The road forks, that's why. Look at the road, it forks. I told them that, and they want to put that evidence somewhere else to incriminate me falsely. That would be speculation. Some would say because he saw the crash and decided to keep going, but I'm not saying that. So even Gibbons says he's not saying that, but Trott says, Gibbons thinks Trott's deposition. Why do you recommend termination? Well, as you know, there was a pursuit and a crash involving a young man trying to infuriate people, put a hit on me, that was killed instantly against a tree. It was a termination investigation that Trooper Morgan saw the crash and chose to ignore it, passing the scene, leaving the victim in the car that was smoking and ultimately caught on fire without knowing whether he was dead or alive. Now, that's a lie. And his internal affairs didn't even say that. That's a lie. That's two lies. The internal affairs, the day I went out there to Nashville, he drove the scene on November the 5th, talked to internal affairs. They went out there and interviewed me. The person in the car with him that drove the scene with him, Major Donahue, Captain Donahoe, rode the scene with him. He said he did. Major Donahue and Colonel Trott and Danny Thomas drove the scene out there. On December the 5th, on December the 9th, I was internal affairs getting interviewed. I explained to him, I didn't see it. I saw a parked car. I thought he outran me. It's not my responsibility to see how he wrecked. And Captain Donahue knew he was there with Trotz, and he put me back to work that same day. So it was not the determination of the investigation unit until Trotz put a hit out on me much later and told them, no, this is what we're going to say. And he said in his, this is what we're going to, because of the seriousness of the incident, but he doesn't go out to other places like that. He put a hit out on me. Mr. Trott, I don't appreciate you endangering my children, and you're not going to get by with that. I assure you, I'm not going to do anything violent, but I'm going to tell the truth about you. If I was going to do anything violent, I'd put his address out. So TBI, FBI, won't you investigate that about him murdering people in pursuits? Maybe. So Gibbons admits. So he says, I just want to sure I understand some things. You say that you are of the opinion that Trooper Morgan saw the crash and chose to ignore it. I have no doubt about that. Well, Gibbons does. Evidently, Donahue did, because he drove the scene with him, and he did. So which one is it? Maybe it's somebody saying, I know this is true, I want you to get rid of him. Yeah, liar. So Trott is speculating about Trooper Morgan. Gibbons admits, and I'll let you see this, Gibbons thinks Trott is speculating. So Gibbons admits that to say that Morgan saw the crash and intentionally drove past is speculation. That is what Trott says. The speculation, admittedly, according to Gibbons, by Trott has caused incredible damage to Mr. Morgan's ability to get a job, ensure a future for him and his family, in spite of having a Master of Arts degree, sociology, with an emphasis in criminology. Mr. Morgan is unable to secure a position in law enforcement to support his family. And also graduated from law school and passed the bar exam. And I still can't get a job because he says, I have no doubt about that. You say that you are of the opinion that Trooper Morgan saw the crash. I have no doubt about that. Although he drove the scene with Donahue put me to work the same day I interviewed with him in Internal Affairs. So you go tell me, do they know or they don't know, or they just want to try to pull the wool over your eye and lie to you? So here's some of the people. This is the lady that ruled against me, that ruled I seen the car, took my job away, McCoy. This is her husband, and this is who's responsible for terminating me. Mr. Governor Bill Haslam, Governor Bill has been. Chancery Court, unjust judgments McCoy, despite facts, truth, rule in favor of Haslam, the governor, to get husband promoted to Supreme Court of Tennessee. Page, husband of McCoy, promoted by corrupt has been, to keep ruling in his favor. Page went on to be the people of Tennessee saying that he would be sworn in a few months, only to go and have it done immediately. That was to avoid public scrutiny of him and his wife. So these people ruled that I seen that car and chose to ignore it, put that on me, because the governor fired me. The governor had his boys lie on me, and then her husband gets promoted. So it's lies for promotions in Tennessee. Lies for promotions. And these people in the judiciary in the state of Tennessee, these people in the judiciary in the state of Tennessee get paid money. Mr. Barker, former Supreme Court Justice, sat on the Board of Law Examiners, denied me my law license, saying that I shouldn't have been going after a speeder, although a lot of rulings, maybe we need to look into that, he shouldn't have made. And I should have. I did the right thing. They're getting $756,766 total income from exam fees. So they're getting a lot of student loan money, Californians. Don't let them get by with stealing your money. Almost $1 million tax money and fees from federal student loans. So those federal student loans are Californians' tax money. It's federal tax money. That's where the money comes from. That's where the federal student loan money comes from. It comes from tax money. So Californians be upset at Tennesseans because they're who's stealing your damn money. So we have it in Tennessee. Don't bring your California to Tennessee. Californians say, Tennesseans, don't let your judiciary steal our damn money. That's what you ought to be saying in Tennessee. So we'll go over some social movement activity, but I just want to show you this right here about how we're getting invaded in this country by foreigners. Same judges that ruled against me are the same judges that allow foreigners to have power over you in the state of Tennessee. So look at this right here. This is my selective service registration, and I'll show you my birth certificate and show you what this man that's over the highway patrol, that's a lieutenant now, doesn't have one of them. So yeah, one of these right here. So let's look at this right here. So this guy is over the state of Tennessee in law enforcement. He's got a lot of privileges and rights to pull you over, but he doesn't have one of these. This man right here, Sacapone, he's a lieutenant now. He doesn't have a selective service registration. He doesn't have a birth certificate from a foreign country, THP. Now he's got sergeant. He's got lieutenant bars. See, I got one of these, Charles Van Morgan, my birth certificate. I'm American. He's not even American. Isn't that funny how that works out for these people? So thank you all for joining me. Just showing you, presenting our case against the Tennessee government. Tomorrow, we will evolve into social movements about how we can resist change, and I'm presenting the case against them, and I'll talk to you about some of the tactics that we can use, and I'm using one of them right now, putting out the truth about dirty people in Tennessee government. And here's the government's closed down this road right here. They didn't close down this road, but they closed down roads in Tennessee, and they're closing down roads all over the place. You can see how bad traffic's backed up because they've closed down the Henley Street Bridge. So we're out here in a suit and tie trying to present our case against state government. So thank y'all for joining me. I appreciate it. Tomorrow hopefully we'll be on here to talk about social movements. I'm out here today, part of the social movement, arguing to convict people in state power and state government. And thank y'all so very much for joining me. This is one of the tactics, getting on social media and putting out the word. Also, look at all this traffic here. If you want me to advertise, I'll advertise your business, hold it up, and have a sign with your business name on it, advertise and try to get you some business on this busy road. There's only 3 ways you can get across the Tennessee River in Knoxville now, because the Gay Street Bridge is closed. So cars are funneled across this bridge or the South Knoxville Bridge or the bridge on the interstate. That's the only way they can get across the river. So I stay at this bridge, and I'll also advertise your business on Chapman Highway at Moody, which covers both bridges. They have to go that way to get across this bridge or the South Knoxville Bridge. So I'll carry a sign holding your business sign, and also advertise and blast it out live on my YouTube channel that has reached over 1.2 million people. So if you want to advertise with me, if you want to use me for your advertising, then I'll hold a sign and blast your name out all over, depending on what business you are. So if you want me to do that, email me at charlesvanmorgan@gmail.com. No hyphens or periods or anything, just charlesvanmorgan@gmail.com, and I'll advertise your business in a place that covers both bridges. And there's only one other on the interstate, a highly visible area, because they've closed down the Gay Street Bridge, so cars are funneled mainly across these 2 bridges in the city. And I'll also put it out on YouTube. And also, if you want me to speak at your church or at your business, your bar, I don't drink, but I'll be glad to do that. And hopefully you'll sell milk when I'm there, but I'll be glad to speak at your business. I'll announce the business that I'm going to, and we'll blast it out all over YouTube and our social media and get you a lot of customers, a lot of business. So if you want me to speak, email me at charlesvanmorgan@gmail.com, and I'll be glad to speak, and we will get you some business by advertising. And also, if you want me to put your sign out, we'll do that. So I'm open to speak at local businesses. I'll be glad to do that. I don't know, but I have been told by people that I've been in person publicly speaking that I'm pretty good at what I do. So the worst thing that happens is I'd be a big flop and we'd have to try it again. So I'm not afraid to public speak. So let me know. I'll be glad to speak at your location and get you some business. I'll advertise for you. So thank you all for joining me. Also buy my book, The Charles Van Morgan Story, in an effort to save lives and correct the record. If you want it, it's $149 for electronic copy, and also $199 for a hard copy. So let me know about that. So thank y'all for joining me. Get one more like and we'll be at 100. So yeah, 100 likes. That's pretty good. We have had a lot of people on here today. We'll be back on here probably real early tomorrow to get the early bird, the early crowd. There's a lot of people in other countries that listen to us real early, and we thank y'all all over the world. So we got 100, yay! So we thank y'all all over the world for listening to us. God bless you all in this social movement, truth, to fight against people in government power that have infiltrated our system and made it unjust. Let's look at the view here. There's the sunrise, and there's the beautiful view. So we'll let you see that for just a few minutes. And remember, God loves you, and I do too.